going on, everyone? It's Garrett, and today I'm going to guys a video talking about how to blend in Photoshop. So this is going to be mostly a painting tutorial. It's going to lead into a bigger series on my channel. A lot lately I've been streaming my painting that I've been doing. I'll show you guys right here. And really quickly, this did take me a while. I'm not done with it at all, but a lot of people are like questioning how I blend colors like this, and how I get like these clean strokes around everything that blends up together. So there's a lot of different things that I do in this, and it's not like one brush I use a lot of different brushes, but the one that I use to stay consistent throughout the strokes that I'm going to go over, and you guys can basically watch this, learn a few things about how the brush works, and then we're going to go from there. So I do want to say, if you guys are going to start off painting on Photoshop and do more of like artistic ability stuff, I definitely recommend getting a tablet. If you guys don't have like an iPad or a like a tablet, like an actual laptop tablet, then go ahead and head over to like Best Buy or Walmart, Target, or any website that sells electronics, and you guys can get a Wacom Intuos Art. I think the cheapest one's like $60. You might even find one on Amazon. But basically it's what I'm using. It's not that expensive. For a lot of tablets they can cost upwards of thousands of dollars, and this is a very good one to just learn how to use. And it's not like about how big it is to learn. You'll get used to it over time, but this is definitely something that you want to get into if you guys want to start getting more into digital painting and stuff. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to blend these colors together, and it doesn't look very easy. You could really just take a gradient and do it, but it's different when you're actually painting it because you can get that feel for it. So the first thing I do want to say is you guys can head over to your window and grab your brush presets and just leave those like right up here, something like that, just in the screen so you can see what brush you're using, just because it's going to be helpful on what you're doing. So like I said, you guys can do this with a mouse, but I definitely recommend using a pen or a tablet, just because the mouse is going to have to do a lot of erasing and stuff like that. And the first thing I do want to say is we're going to go over the brushes itself, and the brushes is a very big thing to learn about because each brush does different things. So I'm going to go ahead and make a new layer and explain a few of them. So you can see on the brush presets that some of them have more of a harder stroke around them than others do, and there's usually like duplicates of many of them. You guys can scroll down and see like different kind of brushes you have. Some of them come with like different presets, like you guys can grab leaves and create like a leaf stroke. I'm using black on black like this. You can grab more leaves, clouds maybe, and different brushes do different things. So you have to go ahead and go through all of these to figure out which ones you have and which ones you can use. This is one I really like using. It's a square one, and definitely something I recommend using. And you can go through the whole entire thing. A lot of computers come stock with a lot of them, which is actually really nice, just because you don't have to go ahead and buy anything. And like I have a bunch of them that are actually bought that I use. You can use this for like clouds and stuff like that. And you can see that it doesn't take much to create a cloud, as long as you know where colors go and stuff like that. So something to definitely look out for. But if you guys don't have any brushes or anything that you think is useful onto your computer, go ahead on Google and type in like brushes for painting. You guys can find a bunch of free ones, and there's concrete paint, there's paintbrush splatters, regular brushes, spray ones. There's a bunch of different variations you guys can use. It doesn't really matter which ones you actually use, as long as you have something that you're comfortable with using. That's really all that matters. So I'm gonna go ahead and use my square one. You guys can like legit use anything you'd like. Like I said, it's not like a big thing that you need to have a certain one. It's really all preference, especially when you're doing stuff like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and find it. And like I said, it's really how you feel about it. You might want to use a more rectangular brush or a more circular one. It really is like a big thing to just look out for and find one. So I gotta figure out where I put that brush. No, it doesn't really matter. You can use any one. But basically, when you're doing this, like I said, find the brush that you'd like to use. Here it is. And that's really whatever you'd like. You guys can use like stuff like this. So that's basically how you're gonna go about it. So you need to find your brush that senses how your style is gonna be. A lot of people use like the stock brushes up here. So let's just say that you want to use like a circular one. You can use that, and you can see that how I have pressure sensitive stuff on my computer. That's because I'm using a tablet. If I use my mouse to click, it's more of like a bright one with like lines through it. And I will show you guys how to blend stuff with a mouse, but right now it's gonna be with a tablet. So let's just go with a new layer, and we're gonna make a quick color scheme. So we're gonna grab just a regular bright color, maybe like a blue. Make sure that none of these are ticked on yet. Is opacity at 100 and flow at 100, and you know, put a blue there. You can go grab maybe a more saturated darker blue, and then you can grab the lastly would be a more of a purple darker version. So you have like this whole combination up here. So you can make a new layer now and basically go from here. So to basically start off this, if you're gonna use a tablet, the first thing I'm gonna do is hit I on the keyboard and grab your blue color like your eye swatch, and then just pretty much hold shift and make a big line. And this can be as big as you want. It doesn't really have to be like a certain size. Just want to make it big enough so you can pretty much learn how to do this. You can hold shift and do it, then you can let go of shift and you can just pretty much press on your keyboard and then your mouse and then everything else like that. And then you want to make a perfect line like this, which is going to be your base layer. So after that, you can grab your blue color and start in the middle. And if you're having a tablet, you can literally just like lightly press and kind of go back and forth just like this. And it creates a nice texture. And then you can make the middle darker and then fade this out just like how I'm doing. So it's very time consuming, but you know, you do want to fade the colors out. So if you have your light blue fade in the darker blue, that goes out all the way over here, and then you can take your purple, do the same thing and start over here and press maybe a little bit darker so that purple really shines through, and then kind of fade this over here. And you're gonna see really quickly and how things are gonna start to fade together. So once you have the kind of like the base colors going together, you can grab that blue again and then go back over. And this is kind of like what I was talking about with the how you just go back over and create this, you know, a nice fade. And I'm gonna do it for each color like this, so you can see that it's gonna go light blue, dark blue, and then purple. So after you grab that, grab your brush again, and then click your opacity up here, and then click your flow, which is basically gonna be like you press harder, it shines harder, the opacity is lower from the beginning, and stuff like that. So you know, you can have this cool texture to it, and this is gonna help with your blending tremendously. So you got that, then you can grab that blue, maybe fade that back just a little bit, and then you can fade this blue into that purple, grab the purple again, and then you can do the same thing over again. I know this is kind of like a boring tutorial, but this is definitely something that everyone should know about. And then, you know, you have this going on, and you guys can, you know, take your little rectangle tool and cut off like the sides just to see it better, like this. You can go to Control J, blur, Gaussian blur, and you can create a Gaussian blur on it, and then, you know, overlay it back on. So you can see that it's a very clean gradient on top of it, which is what I use for here. I have these color swatches all around, which is the ones I'm going to be using. But if you guys want to use like other things, like let's just say you're not fortunate enough to go out and buy a tablet really quickly, so I'm going to show you guys a really quick way to use your mouse and do that. So I'm going to put my tablet down really quickly and then make another new layer, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to start off and we're going to use our mouse. So I'm going to do the same thing. You can use legit any brush you'd like. I'm going to keep using this rectangular one just because I feel like it's the best one to look at because it creates that kind of clean stroke. Alright, so we have this color here, and what you can do is grab the blue, and it's going to be the same thing. You just want to pretty much fade it out as best as possible. I'm going to do this really quickly for you guys so I don't bore you guys out. And so you have the purples, the blues, and stuff like that. Alright, so this is going to be kind of like your main layers. So you make another new layer, grab that blue, and then you're going to go back over. And then you're going to take an eraser, and the size can be whatever, and then you want to grab more of a one with the edges kind of blurred out on your brush presets, and then you can fade this out just like that. And the more large the brush is, the easier it is. And then you can grab that same kind of brush and go in. If you guys need to mess with the size and hardness, definitely keep the hardness at a 0. So you can click around, you can grab your tool and cut it out. Alright, and then you definitely want to make another new layer every time you do a different color, just because it's easier to kind of mess with. So it's not going to be as clean of a blur as the other one will be, but you know, if you guys aren't fortunate enough, this is what you're going to have to work with. So every color you use is going to be a different use for it. So, you know, I'm going to take this, I'm going to blend this in, And I'm just gonna tape this, I know what's gonna go where. Alright, and then we could take the colors and just quickly cut them out. And it's gonna be the same thing, we're gonna finish it off. And if you guys want that kind of really clean gradient, what you can do is merge all of these together. And then same thing, go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and then just blur it out and just make it more like a 3.5-ish, 2.3 maybe, and then you can leave it there. End up merging these all, cutting off the sides of course. And then you guys are gonna have your own kind of little way to do this. As you can see, it really ends up being the same kind of thing. This is done with the tablet, this is done with the mouse. But I really worry about using these colors and making sure you're working with stuff like this. Like I said, you guys can use different brushes to kind of create different textures. For what I usually do when I'm doing, you know, my art like this, is I make a new layer, of course, every time. And I'll grab the blue, usually using this square one, and I'll just create like a quick stroke like this. We'll just say that it's gonna bend around. So I have this kind of cool little design, and I'll take the purple and then I'll blend the purple into it like this. And of course I grab the blue again, and I always do the lightest last, just because I feel like once I start adding the light colors that it really comes together. So you can see that it's really time consuming, and you're gonna keep having to click back and forth. And once you're finished, you can end up having other stuff like this. Of course, I like using the textures just because it looks a lot nicer. And when you have like stuff like this, it really works out well. Of course, this is what I'm working on now to show you guys basically, you know, how I go about things. I usually make a new layer, and then I'll grab like, maybe just grab the this blue color, and I'll pretty much zoom in, and then I'll just do really light strokes around places, just to create more of like a lighter, you know, part of this. You can see I'm just like kind of clicking around. Sometimes I do a little bit too light, so I kind of have to hit Control Z and redo it. Sometimes it's a little bit too dark, so of course, you know, you have to work with what you're doing. And it's a lot of, you know, trial and error, and you don't want to overdo it just because it's a big thing. So of course, if you guys want more tutorials on this kind of painting stuff, let me know. This is something that everyone should really learn about in Photoshop, just because it's really cool to kind of create stuff like this. And if you guys do want more tutorials, just let me know in the comment section below what you guys would like to see. My email is on the screen right now, so you guys can definitely email me below to kind of get more tutorial requests. That's what I'm really checking out for, is to see what you guys want to see on my channel. But other than that, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a thumbs up and a comment on the video. Thank you guys so much for subscribing to my channel. If you guys can, subscribe right now and turn my alerts on, because I'm going to be trying to upload as fast as I can. Other than that, guys, I'll see you in my next video, and it's been Garrett. Peace out.